So Austria lane 1, Norway with Svensson in 2, Mickey Roche quick to settle, and he'll shoot quickly once he gets going. Remember, 5 rounds in the magazine, 3 spare rounds to clear the targets if they're required. First to go, the Czech Republic with Schlesinger, but he's a long way down the range, so it will take him a little bit of time. And Svensson goes clear, Austria go clear, Sweden taking their time, but they go down for Sweden. And Magnus Jonsson through the first hurdle. Sweden's team gets stronger and stronger as we go through the field. The big question for me is whether Bjorn Ferry is in a fit state to race, having suffered from flu for the first 5 days. Wearing 12, that's the USA, Lowell Bailey shooting left-handed like Alexander Oss would have done if he was selected. Oss left out of the Norwegian team. There's no Wolf in the German team either, which I guess is not a surprise when you've seen how he's been performing over the last couple of World Cups and this meeting, of course. Let's have a look and see where Svensson's target is hit. The first one is smack in the middle, and again a 9, an 8. And he's back more central. Good grouping so far. So good shooting from Svensson. That will be a little bit of a relief for him. Incidentally, missing all the races here has dropped him right down from 1st into 4th in the World Cup standings. And the positive side of that is it's so close that it could still go anyway. 3 more rounds of the World Cup to go. 2 races in Canada, 3 in Trondheim and 3 in Chianti-Mansijsk. Svensson, though, is 93 points adrift of the World Cup leader, Tomasz Sikora, who will be taking the third leg here for Poland. And Poland not expected to feature. Certainly not come the end of the race in the top 3 or 4, but we will try and track their performance. I'll also give you an update on the British performances whenever possible. The Brits not competing in the mixed relay, which was slightly surprising. I haven't heard from the British, the BBU, the British Biathlon Union, as to why not, although suggestions were made. It was to allow them to focus, to rest for the men and the women's relay. They competed yesterday, was some 12 minutes behind the winning team, Russia. Now, you're not going to win the relay on the first shoot, but you can certainly make life difficult for yourself. Norway usually dropping well below. Since they've started to put Svensson first, Norway's fortunes in the relay have changed, but they've still been a bit inconsistent this year. 4th, 6th, 3rd and 1st. At least the results have been going the right way. But they would have swapped that first position in Ruhpolding for a 10th if it meant they were going to win here. Now, slightly surprised to see Austria's Danny Mesetic struggling with the downhill corner. Mickey Lofgren on the right of your picture there, the shooting coach for Norway at the moment. Must be difficult for him. He's a Swede, so he'll be delighted to see Sweden do well. Jonsson, Nielsen, Ferry and Bergman. But also working for the Norwegian team, so his future depends on Norway doing well. And when those two nations are such big rivals in all the Nordic sports, up to 3.8 kilometres. Remember, 7.5 kilometres for each leg. Svensson's not managed to do any ski damage. I don't think the Norwegians will be too concerned about that. Their big hairy moment, you could say, is when Lars Berger takes to the track. Berger skiing very well, no doubt about that, but his shooting is still inconsistent. You're not quite sure what you're going to get, but he had such a good run in the sprint event that maybe they had no choice to put him in instead of Alexander Oss. I still think that's a very, very brave decision, because Berger can so easily throw away a potential win in the relay. Hannavold on leg 3 should be able to settle the ship a little, and then Oleana Bjorndalen in fourth. And thanks for all your emails throughout the week. I've gone and lost the pile that I had. I've got so many papers on the desk at the moment. But one email saying, did Bjorndalen get held up on the penalty loop yesterday? And does that explain why he didn't have a lead coming out of the stadium for the last time? And yes, you're absolutely right. The penalty loop was packed, and Bjorndalen certainly losing 2 or 3 possible seconds there. It might have made the difference, but to be honest, Landertinge was so strong over that last 3 kilometres that I think they would have caught the Norwegian anyway. So, shoot number 2. Norwegians have come out for the latter part of these championships, and the spirit now is very, very good, considering we've not got that many people here. There's lots of noise. We're getting response to the shots, which we certainly didn't have early on. Now they take the lane that corresponds to their position of entry into the firing point, and it is going to be Rush on 2. Svensson takes 1. He's breathing much, much harder than we normally see. This is going to be a tough shoot for Svensson, but if he can get them down with maybe 5 or 6 shots, that would be excellent. He can afford to take his time. Austria still in the running. No mistakes from them on this final shoot. There's the first mistake from Norway. Austria rattling 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4. 3 misses from Svensson. He really is struggling. It could be an early penalty loop for them. And it's the Czech Republic who get away first. The first really good sign of skiing and shooting from Michael Schlesinger for the whole season. So watch the margins. Germany are away as well. 11:51 the time. Is Svensson going to be on the penalty loop? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Now, why isn't Os racing? I suspect, I haven't heard, but I suspect Os might be ill as well. When it goes into a team, it tends to go around. And that would be a good explanation as to why he hasn't got a place in the relay team. Svensson is well below par. You saw the breathing rate. You saw how unsettled he was for that standing shoot. It has cost them. Norway have a penalty loop to do, and now everyone else has got to put in a stunning performance. Look how many mistakes there have been. We've had so much wind all week. As soon as it calms down, they can't shoot. Extraordinary. Germany, though, have stayed clean, and Mickey Roche goes out in first place. Stefan, Pfeiffer and Grice, one of the youngest teams here today. Germany possibly heading for their 3rd gold of the championships. Early days to say that. Well, they're through the first 2 shoots in the men's 4x7.5, and here are the 2 leading teams. Germany ahead of the Czech Republic, and in 3rd place and still looking very dangerous, it is Austria. Dani Mesetic has done an excellent job. The 32-year-old, lying 15th in the World Cup rankings, has stayed clean, and he's kept himself within sight of the lead. Schlesinger digging deep to give the Czechs the best possible start. Vitek, Dostal, Sukup, all so experienced. If they can just get their best performance of the championships and put it all together today, it could be a medal for the Czech Republic. Croatia have got one. We saw Slovakia get a medal in the women's mass start earlier today. It would be nice to see the Czechs there as well. Now, Slovakia again going well with Hryat 4th, Novikov of Belarus 5. The Ukraine in 6th with Bilanenko. Vincent Gay of France, that's not too bad, only 28 seconds behind. Svensson with that penalty loop is now 35 seconds down, and he's got to risk everything to try and claw back a few seconds. But Svensson is not on World Cup winning form. What damage that illness has done, and I just hope that by racing here today and in the mass start yesterday, he hasn't done himself any further damage. If it has, it could cost him a crack at the world title this year. That's the World Cup overall victory, I'm implying. Now, Rush just getting a few meters on Schlesinger of the Czech Republic, and every corner he goes round, he's gaining a few more. So good technique and really disciplined skiing. Lovely tempo as well. Winds it up. A rhythmical skier at the worst of times. Mickey Roche is still full of running here. 6.3 kilometers done. 1,200 meters to go. I think that might have been Martina Beck out on the tracks. That's one thing the Germans are very, very good at doing. The men supporting the women supporting the men, and that adds to all the other officials that are out there doing their job as well. So Roche, Schlesinger, Mesetic for Germany, Czech Republic and Austria, the leading three in the early days. 19 seconds already separating the top four. The field is being broken. Svensson was 35 behind. He's closed it a little. 31.5. Good effort from Svensson to try and get a little bit closer to Germany. Now Russia, who were certainly expected to do something here today, yet to go through. Belarus are 42 behind. Russia, at my last record, were 1:11 and outside the top 15. So a desperate, desperate start for them. And Ustigov has had all sorts of problems. Ustigov with one penalty loop, 4 misses, and already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams have been on the penalty loop already. In fact, 6, 7, 8 now, and Great Britain, I'm afraid, are one of those. They are down in 24th position, 1:55 off the leaders. So the first exchange, and it is Germany and Austria, two of the favourites that head out. The Czech Republic and the Austrian suits very similar. Austria wearing bib number 1 and the Czech Republic wearing bib number 9. Slovakia 24. What is the final margin for Norway? 32.4 for Svensson. What a good effort, but he knows that that penalty loop could prove costly come the end of the day. Not only is the gold medal at stake, but the top of the medal table is at stake, because if Germany win it today, then they will top the table. If Austria win it, then Norway will be the leaders, and if Russia win today's title, which doesn't look likely now that they're over a minute behind, then they would go away as the leading team from Pyeong Chang. I think there'll be one or two that hope that isn't the case. Now, 16:36, that's not a bad time for the 7.5 kilometers. One of the best performances we've seen by Mickey Roche so far. He's been regularly taking the first leg, finished 4th in the first leg in Ruhpolding, the last of the World Cup relays. Christoph Steffen on course. Steffen already has a medal from these championships, and he's one of the men for the future. Ada of Austria. Now, Ada has taken over Mickey Roche's mantle as the fastest shot on the tour. Whether he can hit the targets today or not, we'll have to wait and see. But he won't change what he's developed over the last 2 or 3 seasons. He took a lot of risks, a little like a golfer, rebuilding his position. They know that for 2 seasons or so, they will not get the results that they've had before. The whole idea is to improve the end game, and that's exactly what Ada has done. Suddenly this year, he's found a system that works for him, and he's learnt to shoot quickly. My goodness, he left his selection late. Had to get a podium finish in the last round of the World Cup in Antolz. He did it on the last day and the last World Cup before these championships. Simon Ada, of course, the son of the Austrian coach Alfred Ada. Once again, I do apologise for getting my Italy's and Austrians mixed up yesterday, thinking that Antolz was the base for the Austrian ski team. It is, of course, Hochfilzen, which is not so far from Ruhpolding.